Good evening. Good evening. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you for joining this live session. Please let me if you can hear me. Just drop a comment in the comment section. I'll be glad to know if you can hear me loud and clear. Please let me know. Drop a comment. Are you able to hear me? Let me know. Let me know. You can like the video so that I can get a hint if you are able to hear me loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining this live session. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please drop me a comment. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff, for letting me know that you can hear me loud and clear. It's exciting to see you once again join the session. It's exciting to see you once again join the session. Just to be able to explore more with regards to career matters. Please feel free to invite your contacts if you have any who are likely to benefit from this particular session. For today's session specifically, I've built it up on what we discussed last week, or some of the questions that I got from last week. So I built up today's session on that. And I would like to proceed from there just to be able to explore on the non-clinical career pathway that are available for medical professionals, especially here in Kenya. Looking at our context here in Kenya, what are some of the non-clinical career pathways that are available for us to explore? That is very, very, very important. And of course, the session is recorded, so you can always come back to it at your own time. You find time, you can always come back to explore or hear more about careers in non-clinical pathway. So if you have friends, feel free to drop them a link, a reminder to join the session. Thank you for those who are joining. If you have friends, feel free to drop them a reminder, even as we look together at the non-clinical pathways when it comes to career in the medical space. It's quite an interesting topic, and I believe that at the end of this session, you'll have something to take home. In the meantime, please feel free to drop your question in the comment section. Also, feel free to drop a comment as well in the comment section. I'll be very, very much glad to respond to that. So I opened up this session after I got numerous inquiries from colleagues who are junior colleagues who are still in school. These are medical students, and when I talk about medical students, I'm talking about those who are doing pharmacy. We have students who are doing medicine. We have students who are doing dentistry. We have those who are doing Bachelor of Science in nursing. We have medical laboratory scientists. I mean, mention all the cadres in the healthcare space. I was getting numerous questions as I was interacting with them. And, there seemed to be a sense of anxiety of what awaits most of them after school. And I thought of having this live session twice a month just to be able to share my insights, what I've been able to learn along the way, what I've been able to experience personally in my career journey, so that someone can get light and have it easy when they're beginning their career journey. So we had the first session 2 weeks ago, where I read out the questions that we had shared and also made an attempt to respond to them. And there were quite a number of questions which were very broad, and I thought it would be good for me to have these sessions themed and design them in such a way that they'll be able to respond to specific group of questions that are related at a given go. And in today's session, I have themed it non-clinical career pathways for medical professionals. And when I talk about medical professionals, We're talking about BPharm or pharmacists. We're talking about dentists. We're talking about doctors, those who have a background in MBChB, those who have a background in nursing, and any other cadre in the healthcare space. And the ones that I'm going to share today may not be exhaustive. They'll cut across. They may not be exhaustive. So even as I go through, you'll be able to find where you fall. You'll be able to find where you fall based on your current training or area of training. And so, of course, as a way of beginning, I've always say it's important to build context on where we find ourselves as professionals in our country. We find ourselves where we have limited opportunities to practice. We have limited opportunities to practice. We face delayed absorption into employment, and of course, underemployment after graduation. And underemployment is biting and is contributed by several factors. In the last session we had, I built context on where we find ourselves in as doctors, where we have limited opportunities for us, and yet our numbers keep on growing by the day. The universities that train doctors, train pharmacists, dentists, nurses keep on increasing by the day. Yet the opportunities seem to be shrinking also by the day. So what we have is not that we have adequate supply of doctors into the Kenyan ecosystem. In fact, if you look at the WHO ratios, we fall far much below. But yet we still have many doctors out here who are not employed, or nurses for that sake, who are not employed, pharmacists who are not employed, or if they're employed, they're then underemployed, meaning they're paid way below what they're supposed to be paid. It's because the limited opportunities that are there. I mean, it also follows the law of supply and demand. If the supply of professionals is more than the demand that is in the market, then the market tends to underpay the professionals. But if the supply is insufficient, the market tends to overpay because they are scrambling for the available for the few or the available professionals in the market. At the current state, we have an oversupply, sort of a created oversupply of professionals, and as such, the industry rates are not are not at the level which they're supposed to be. So you'll end up being paid a salary that is way below what you should be able to get in the market. So many people end up feeling stuck. They end up feeling stuck. Perhaps maybe they think the only route that I have to practice my profession is in the conventional route, that is working in a hospital setup, or for pharmacists we work in community setup, that is the retail setup, or you open up a chemist around the corner. And yet we have many quacks, or we have many other chemists that are competing for the same customers or clients. If they are dentists, I mean hospitals and maybe a dentistry facility. So this session specifically is to open up your eyes that we have many other opportunities within the ecosystem that you can consider. Beyond the clinical practice, we have many other opportunities. And my hope and prayer is that at the end of this session, I will have encouraged one person. I just want one person to be able to know that there are still many other opportunities out here that they can be able to look at and perhaps begin warming themselves towards. Number one space that I want us to look at is the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. The pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. And of course, it's important to note that this is one of the largest non-clinical employers, is one of the largest non-clinical employers of healthcare professionals here in Kenya. And there are many opportunities within the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry that perhaps you may not be knowing. And through this session, we'll know that these opportunities exist for you to take them up and practice. And so to begin with is to understand, what does this space involve? When you talk about pharmaceutical and healthcare industry, what are we talking about? You know, healthcare companies, of course, they need professionals, and they need professionals who understand diseases, professionals who understand medicines, professionals who understand clinical decision making, and professionals who understand healthcare systems. Healthcare industry or companies We talk about pharmaceutical manufacturers, you talk about distributors, you talk about medical device and technology companies, you talk about health tech companies. These still fall under pharmaceutical and healthcare industry, and they need professionals who are competent or who understand what I've talked about, who understand the diseases, the sciences of diseases, pathophysiology and all that, who understand medicines, the science of medicines. It needs professionals who understand clinical decision making. It needs professionals who understand the healthcare ecosystem. All this, all this, all these competence areas that are needed in pharmaceutical industry or healthcare industry. And you as a professional who has been trained or who is being trained in all these areas, you will find you'll be a perfect fit for these roles in pharmaceutical industry. Now, I'll go ahead to break down some of the roles that are found in the pharmaceutical industry that can be a good fit for you. And also I'll talk about how this or the demands of these roles and what you may need to thrive in these roles. And I hope that that will be clear enough for you. So the first role is what we call the being a medical representative, or in other setups, they are known as scientific advisors. A medical representative, or in other setups, they are known as scientific advisors. And medical representative, primarily, they engage doctors, they engage pharmacists, and also they engage hospitals. And in their engagement, they provide scientific information about molecules, about products. And they're not necessarily limited to pharmaceutical products because we have both pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical products. When you talk about pharmaceutical products, you're talking about medicines. When you're talking about non-pharmaceutical products, you're talking about medical devices, medical technologies, surgical apparatus. All those, they fall under products. So medical sales representatives or scientific advisors, they engage doctors, pharmacists, and hospitals primarily by providing scientific information and also to support rational medicine use. By rational medicine use, we mean that the ones who share information about these medicines, mechanism of action, talk about adverse events, talk about side effects, talk about conditions for which these medicines are indicated. So medical representatives, they perform that particular role. They sort of act as a bridge between science and business. And for the longest time, we've had people with backgrounds in human biological sciences. By that, I talk about microbiology, people who have a background in biotechnology, people who have a background in biochemistry, and some extent I've seen nurses stepping into that space. I've seen pharmaceutical technologists, I've seen pharmacists stepping into that space. I've met medical sales representatives who have a background in clinical medicine stepping into that space, but I haven't seen one, especially in Kenya, who have a background in MBChB, who have a background, let's say, in BSN. I've seen nurses who have a background in diploma. I haven't seen those who have a background in medical science, laboratory science. I've seen one, no, I've corrected myself. I've seen one who has a background in medical laboratory science, but I haven't seen those who have a background in dentistry. But this is an opportunity that is open for all of us. And this role will teach you about communication. It will teach you about influence. It will teach you about market understanding. And many leaders in pharma industry talk about the CEOs, chief operation officers, chief marketing officers. In pharmaceutical industry, especially the commercial arm, they begin their journey by being medical sales representative. So it's a role that is open that you may consider stepping into, especially if you're good in communication, you're good in people's skills, you're good in business, or you're passionate about business. You may not necessarily be understanding everything about business, but you're willing to learn about business. That is a space that is open up for you or to you. The other role is product manager, being a product manager. And a product manager is someone who is responsible for, number one, the strategy of a medicine and a medical device. And when you're talking about a strategy of a medicine or a medical device, you remember I talked about business knowledge or business skill. So when you're stepping into a product manager role, you're looking at a role that will entail you positioning a product in the market, from the launch of the product to how it's supposed to grow month by month, year by year in the market, to how the product is supposed to gain or gather or grow in terms of market share. It also entails market positioning of the product, training of teams. And when you talk about training of teams, you're talking about training of medical sales representative. It also entails launching of products. And in this particular role, you're moving from execution to strategy, from execution to strategy. And as long as you have a medical background, a human biological background, you're able to thrive in this role. So this is one of the roles that many people, especially those who have a background in medicine, dentistry, at least for pharmacists, we are aware about this role. For those who have a background in medicine and dentistry, aren't aware about that. So this is one of the roles you may consider. And as I proceed, please feel free to drop your question if you have any. Drop your question in the comment section. I'll be able to see it. You can also drop what may be standing out for you in terms of nuggets or insight that you're gathering in this session in the comment section. That will really go in handy in helping me to understand what specifically you need to understand. The third role that I want to talk about is what we call medical affairs. Now, this role predominantly it has been occupied by doctors who have a background in MBChB. They're the ones who've been thriving in this particular role in pharmaceutical industry, but it's a role that is open to BSN, to dentists, also to pharmacists. They can thrive really, really well in this role. And this role is more scientific than commercial. In the pharmaceutical industry, I like looking at it in two phases. I like to looking at it as phase one is the commercial aspect, and phase two is the what I call the medical aspect or the scientific aspect. So there are roles that are scientifically inclined, and there are roles that are commercially inclined. Medical affairs is one of the roles that is scientifically inclined, is more scientific than commercial. That is medical affairs. And the work of a medical affairs person includes clinical evidence discussion, that the ones who present during CMEs. If you've attended CMEs that have been organized by multinational, most likely the person who was presenting the scientific content is or was a medical affairs person. They are involved in what we call KOL engagement. KOL engagement simply means key opinion leader engagement. And key opinion leader is that particular consultant in a certain therapeutic area. It could be obs-gyn, it could be pediatrics, it could be orthopedic area. So if you have a consultant who is influential, they can easily be termed as a key opinion leader in that therapeutic area. So what pharmaceutical companies do, especially if they have a medical affairs person, is that that medical affairs person will be the one to engage with this key opinion leader, especially in organizing meetings where the key opinion leader needs to present. They'll also assist them in terms of coming up with scientific literature about products or scientific literature about certain conditions that are addressed by products of interest that pharmaceutical companies are marketing. Also, medical affairs, they're involved in research collaboration, collaborating with investigators that are conducting research or clinical trials for certain products that the company that they're working for is planning to launch or market. We have medical education programs. Also, medical affairs, they play a role in organizing medical education programs. You can drop a comment if you're together, or if you're learning something, please feel free to drop a comment. And medical affairs is a suitable role for clinicians who enjoy science deeply. So if you're a clinician who enjoys science deeply, this is a role that you will easily thrive in. You've done your MBChB, you've done your BPharm, you've done your BSN, you've done your BDS, and you've graduated, you're done with your internship, and you are looking at a role that will push you away from patients or direct interaction with patients. this is a role that maybe you can consider applying for. The other role that is open for you is what you call training and capability roles. Training and capability roles. And you're talking about training and capability roles. An example is being a medical training manager. Personally, I'm a medical training manager in one of the pharmaceutical distributors in the country, a leading pharmaceutical distributor in the country. And my role entails capability development, or simply training medical sales representative and the sales force when it comes to the science of the products and disease area, and also the soft skills or the selling skills. So that is termed as capability development. Medical training manager is one of the roles. Some companies call it training managers. So you train healthcare professionals and sales teams on how to do their job, or how to present, how to communicate scientific facts to meet commercial objectives. That is a medical training manager within the confines of a pharmaceutical industry. So who fits well in this role of being a medical training manager? If you enjoy interacting with people, if you enjoy strategy, or you like strategy, if you want faster career growth, or if you are open to business exposure, then this role will be a very good fit for you. And is not limited to pharmacists, or is not limited to doctors who have MBChB or BDS. If you have a background in human biological sciences, this role can be a good fit for you. But you will thrive and you will do a very good job if you have a background in BSN, if you have a background in pharmacy, or if you have a background in medicine or dentistry. The reason why I'm saying that is because with these four trainings, you've gone into depth in terms of being trained on pathology, microbiology, pharmacology, anatomy. So it becomes easier for you to deploy trainings, and also being able to translate that into communications that can lead to commercial or meeting of commercial objectives. So this is a role you can consider. The other role is regulatory and policy. Regulatory and policy is another path that you can consider as an unclinical career path for you. And this is one of the most powerful, but is one of the most powerful but least understood pathways. Is one of the most powerful but least understood pathways. And policy professionals, they tend to shape how healthcare operates nationally and to some extent regionally and globally. These are policy professionals. And institutions in Kenya that offer you opportunity to practice as a policy professional. Number one being Pharmacy and Poisons Board. This is especially for pharmacists and pharmaceutical technologies. Recently, I've seen adverts being issued out by Pharmacy and Poisons Board, and they are looking for people with background in biochemistry, people with background in microbiology, biostatistics, analytical chemistry. They're expanding the basket. So it's a place where if you are interested in policy and regulation, you can easily find your footing. Ministry of Health. And now here we have a wider basket that also we have nurses, we have nutritionists, we have dentists, we have doctors, we have pharmacists. Ministry of Health has opportunity for every cadre in healthcare space. And Ministry of Health mainly is tasked with policy development and implementation as far as healthcare is concerned in the country. And you can either be employed at the national level or sometimes also at the county level. That is in the County Department of Health or County Health Department. We also have regulatory authorities across board. We've had Kenyans being employed by countries such as Namibia and Botswana, where they don't yet have natives who have been trained in specific areas. Kenyans have been employed there to help shape the regulation of pharmaceutical products in those countries. They've gone in as experts. And also we have African Medicines Agency that has been employing people. So there are many spaces, not necessarily limited to Pharmacy and Poisons Board. We have policy think tanks or organizations. We have an organization which is called MSH, if I'm not wrong. MSH, Medicine Science or Medicine's Health Science or Medicine Science for Health, and many other organizations, PATH, and many other organizations that are interested in policy, USP, interested in policy. And if you are interested in policy, you'll find roles in this organization. Also in professional societies and bodies such as KMPDU, we have Nursing Council, we have PSK, we have KMPDC. I mean, you name them. All this organization will offer you an opportunity to be able to put your passion together with skills into practice and earn something in return. So the other role under still policy, and I'll go specifically to break down under policy and regulation, the specific roles that you'll be able to look at. Number one, we begin by regulation. When we talk about regulation, we're talking about ensuring that medicines and healthcare technologies, they are safe, they're effective, and they're properly licensed. That is regulation. And the roles under regulation include drug registration, we have inspection of facilities, we have enforcement of guidelines, regulations, and the law, and we have pharmacovigilance. So these are opportunities that you can explore. We have policy development as another role under policy and regulation, regulation and policy. And policy development involves designing essential medicines lists, also national treatment guidelines, talk about procurement frameworks, talk about UHC implementation strategies, and you basically influence entire population or healthcare delivery to entire population. We have governance and advocacy. And here, there's a lot of money, by the way, in governance and advocacy. Here is where you are influencing legislation. You're working in committees, in professional society, or you're working in lobby groups, and you're lobbying for or against certain legislations to be passed in parliament, and we have certain interest groups that may come to you as a lobbyist to be able to assist them with lobbying, and they pay good money. At some point, I think you're doing research how lobbying is done in different countries, and one of the interesting facts that I came across was in Germany. Of course, we know Germany machines. Talk about Mercedes, talk about BMW and all that, the Germany machines. And in Germany, there's a street that leads to the parliament. Along that street, you will find corporate offices for these big multinational, be it car companies, agricultural companies, and all that. And they are positioned there strategically because they need a quick access to the parliament where laws are passed. They can quickly have meetings with the legislators when they want their interests taken care of. They understand the importance of lobbying for certain causes. And so if they have someone who is very good at lobbying, they can pay them the amount they want to have their interest advanced through that individual. So lobbying in healthcare is one of the most lucrative spaces because you'll be paid a lot of money just to ensure that certain interests are lobbied within the confines of parliament or interfacing with legislators to ensure that certain interests are taken care of. So influencing legislation, that is in governance and advocacy. We have protection of professional standards and also shaping of healthcare reforms. Now, all those fall under governance and advocacy. Pharmaceutical industries, I've seen a trend currently. They are opening up roles on governance affairs or government affairs, roles that are defined as government affairs, manager government affairs, executive government affairs, associate. So these roles mainly, they entail influencing legislation, protection of professional standards, and all those that I've talked about. And if your personality will be suited here if you are a person who think long term, if you are a person who enjoys systems thinking, if you're a person who likes governance and structure, and if you're a person who is analytical, this role will fit you perfectly well. And perhaps you may be asking yourself, if I really need to advance my studies and position myself well for this role, which are some of the courses that I should consider for master's or postgraduate? Master's in public health is one of them. Health economics is another one, or you can even consider a short course or a professional certification in policy training is another important area that you can look into. Now, let's shift gears and look at public health and global health. This is another area that offers an opportunity for you. It offers you an unclinical career pathway, that is public health and global health. And here we are focusing now on population health. We are moving from individual patient to population health, and employers who can give you opportunity if you're interested in public health include NGOs. We have many NGOs in the country that employ people who are interested in public health or population health. Talk about In Supply, AMREF, talk about Ecumenical Pharmaceutical Network, EPN, many other organizations that are interested in public health professionals. We have Global Fund, we have World Vision, we have PATH, we have Gavi. These opportunities open up in these spaces. Bill and Melinda Gates, sometimes they have programs that may need public health specialists to help them maybe strengthen a healthcare system somewhere. So it opens up opportunity. WHO programs also are very good employers. We have CDC supported projects, very, very good employers. We have donor funded health programs that I've mentioned, global fund funded projects that I've talked about. We have international organizations also that may open opportunities for you. And the roles under public health or global health include being a program officer or a program manager. And in these particular roles, you'll mainly be managing projects such as HIV programs. I am sure you've heard about that. And I've seen nurses working in HIV programs. I've seen doctors working in HIV programs. I've seen pharmacists, especially on the supply chain bit, also fitting pretty well in this particular program. At some point in my career journey, I worked as a consultant for a global funded projects, especially HIV, malaria, and TB program. And I went in as a consultant in supply chain, just checking through the procurement process, if at all it's following the Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2015. That is an act in Kenya that guides how procurement is supposed to be done. And I was mainly doing the auditing process. This is something that I wasn't specifically taught in school, or neither did I interned in that particular area. But based on my pharmaceutical knowledge and also the supply chain bit that I was taught in school in my final year, I was able to fit well in that particular role. It's an unclinical role, and I was able to fit in that role. So another role that we talk about under public health and global health, we have monitoring and evaluation. And here you'll be tracking program outcomes, also impact indicators, because every program has impact indicators and they need to be tracked if actually there is value for that investment. And a monitoring and evaluation specialist comes in handy. So if you've done a postgraduate training in monitoring and evaluation, and you have a background in medicine or pharmacy or even nursing or dentistry, whichever healthcare course, you stand a better chance to do monitoring and evaluation of public health programs. So also you monitor health performance matrices, and this is a very high demand skill. So if you are able to take a postgraduate, and I think it should be AMREF or one of the universities, they offer a postgraduate training in monitoring and evaluation. Should be a 6-month or a 12-month or a 3-month, not quite sure, program that you invest about 180,000 or 200,000. And once you done that, you get a certification as a monitoring and evaluation specialist, and you are able to position yourself better for these roles. Another role under public health and global health is what we call technical advisor. And here you provide expertise to governments and partners. That is with regards to whichever area. It could be a technical advisor as far as health economics is concerned, a technical advisor on health systems and strengthening, a technical advisor on pharmaceutical systems strengthening, or a technical advisor in supply chain. So there's a reason why we've had many clinicians transition into this particular space, is because your impact becomes broader as a clinician, and your influence in health outcomes also at country level or even global or regional level is felt. So that's why you've had many clinicians transition into that space, and it could be an opportunity that you may just consider. The other non-clinical career pathway that I would like to share with you is research and clinical trial. That is research and clinical trial. And with Kenya gaining pace in terms of wanting to be or to get what we call maturity level 3, our national regulatory body, that is Pharmacy and Poisons Board, seeking to be accredited by WHO into maturity level 3, then some of these things will become even more serious, and it will open up opportunities for us as medical professionals. So Kenya has a strong research ecosystem, no doubt about that. Regionally, we have a very strong research ecosystem, and many professionals tend to overlook this. And we have a, a number of working areas that you may consider in the research space. Number one being clinical trials coordinator, or doing coordination on clinical trials, so data collection or even research implementation or ethics review or evidence generation. All these opportunities that you may begin exploring in the research space. And the institutions that may offer you opportunities to do this include KEMRI, that is a government parastatal. We have universities may soon begin offering those opportunities. We've had Strathmore, I think it's time and again I've seen a call for expression of interest. I mean, they have a grant, but they are looking for researchers, especially those who have a background in medical. So, or pharmacy even, or nursing, or dentistry. So they have a grant, but they are looking for people who can be able to assist them to do research. So if you position yourself, get the necessary skills that you need so that when those calls come, you're able to apply and get them. Research NGOs also are there, and they have opportunities for you if you're interested in research. And pharmaceutical trials, we have clinical research organizations such as IQVIA that offer that opportunity for you to put your skills into practice. And in research organizations, maybe I just remembered I need to mention this. In research organizations, especially for pharmacists, if you are a qualified person for pharmacovigilance, you have a QPPV training, or you are passionate about pharmacovigilance, you have prior experience in pharmacovigilance, research organizations have opportunities for people with pharmacovigilance skills, because as they are doing clinical trials on new molecules, they need someone to be monitoring the patient safety aspect or the safety aspect of this particular product. So as a pharmacovigilance practitioner, you have an opportunity right there. So the skills that you need, or the skills that you will gain when you engage in research, include data analysis, or you may begin learning about data analysis to position yourself well for these opportunities. Scientific writing, we have evidence interpretation, we have global collaboration. These are some of the opportunities or skills that you will gain when you immerse yourself in this particular space. The other career pathway you may consider, which is non-clinical as a healthcare practitioner, is health entrepreneurship. We have what you call health entrepreneurship, and this is becoming important because employment opportunities are dwindling by the day because of the increasing number of graduates that are coming out of schools. We have about 11 universities currently training pharmacists. We have more than 11 training medical officers. I think for dentists, there are only two currently in the country. That is University of Nairobi and Moi University. I don't know if there's any other addition, but the number of graduates keep on increasing by the day. And as the number of graduates keep on increasing by the day, it means the available opportunities are shrinking also, because opportunities are not growing at the same rate at which the number of graduates is growing. So the opportunities are shrinking as well. And the reality is that unemployment and underemployment will keep on being with us here for a bit longer. And we need to devise ways of beating that. Entrepreneurship is one of the ways through which you can beat unemployment or underemployment. You become your own employer. And entrepreneurship in healthcare, it sort of gives an opportunity to be a solution provider. And examples of areas you can consider include medical supplies, or medical supplies companies will offer you that opportunity. Digital health startups will offer you that opportunity. I'm glad that I've seen more and more young healthcare professionals getting into entrepreneurship or digital health startups. We have MindFit, MindFit by Dr. Mbiti. He's launched it recently. We have Dawascope, by Dr. Franco, and many other healthcare startups that we have young professionals coming on board and launching them. We have diagnostic centers, offers you a good opportunity. We have wellness brands. We have consulting services that we have young pharmacists, young medical doctors opening them up. So healthcare professionals, as a healthcare professional, with the training that you have or with the training that you are getting, you will succeed in this ecosystem. One, because you have a good understanding of how the system operates. But beyond that, perhaps you've added business skills that are needed to run a startup or a business successfully. The other area or career path that you may consider is digital health and health technology, specifically digital health and health technology. And here you're talking about telemedicine, you're talking about electronic medical records, what we refer to as EMR. We're talking about AI assisted healthcare. You're talking about remote monitoring. So the roles in this space include health informatics specialists. You'll see such roles. There's a health informatics company that I keep on coming across on LinkedIn. You may check them out. It's called Savannah Informatics. And I've seen quite a number of medical professionals being employed by that company, both people who have a background in dentistry, people who have a background in pharmacy, or even MBChB. We have clinical product advisor. We have digital health consultant. We have implementation specialist. In my career journey, I happened to land in a startup, a health tech startup, and it was quite an interesting environment to work in, and just seeing opportunities that are available for healthcare professionals. While there in that particular startup, we were having our offices in a joint in a shared office space that is in Nairobi Garage, Westlands, and there were quite a number of startups around. Another healthcare startup that was there was what is known as Bion 8, and it was interesting to find a colleague whom we worked together with in school, but he was in MBChB, also working for that particular startup. We have implementation specialists as another role that can open up for you in digital and the health tech environment. Another non-clinical career pathway that you can consider is academia, training and knowledge economy. Academia, training and knowledge economy. This is because knowledge itself is now a career. You've heard about knowledge economy. Knowledge itself is now a career. And it's not only a career in universities. It's not just about lecturing. There are many other opportunities that come up. We have what we call CME facilitation. You know, pharmaceutical companies, if they want to engage you as a consultant or a practitioner to come and present, do a medical presentation during a CME, or it could be in a conference, just talk about a certain disease area. Maybe it could be a pharmaceutical company that is selling inhalers, and they want you to talk about asthma and the effectiveness of inhaler, not necessarily marketing their products, but generally talking about management of asthma. You know, for that engagement, based on my industry experience, they normally pay you for preparation of your slides and also pay you for that time which you'll be presenting. For preparation of the slides, maybe it's a 1 hour engagement. They have an hourly rate. They'll pay you a minute rate in that case. The last time I checked for one of the companies that I came across, they were paying about, how much was it? Roughly for a 1 hour engagement, if it's a doctor who has about 20 years of experience in the market, it was coming to about 70,000. That's a 1 hour engagement, and that includes the presentation fee and also the time you've taken to do to prepare your slides. So for 1 hour, you're getting 70,000. I've seen others, maybe you have 3 years of experience, 5 years of experience in the market, you'll be paid around 5,000, 10,000 shillings, 15, 20. I mean, it keeps on increasing based on the number of years of experience you have in the market and or in the industry, and also the level of your influence. So CME facilitation is one. Medical education platforms is another. We have platforms that offer medical education. So you become a curator, a course curator. You create a course and you are paid for that. We have online courses. You can write your own online course. I've done courses and I've earned from it. I've written courses. I've curated courses in different topics, and I've earned from it. So it's an opportunity that is available for you. Professional mentorship. You can run master classes. We've seen doctors having master classes, professional mentorship groups, sharing them their knowledge and experience and in exchange for a fee is another opportunity that can open up for you. Healthcare content creation. We have influencers in the medical space currently in Kenya here, and you know some of them on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. And these influencers, because they've built a following, they can be paid by companies that want to market their products. And I tell you, influencing is not cheap money. The red card of influencers is quite high. I've seen some of the red cards for medical influencers. Some of them charge as much as just to be a host or a moderator in an event that lasts 30 minutes. They charge 50,000 for 30 minutes. And you know, companies will pay because these people are influential. People trust them. They've built that trust. They've built that influence. So it's an opportunity that is available for you. So if you're someone who is outgoing, you're choleric, you're sanguine, and you're able to share your content, you're articulate, this is an opportunity that you may consider. The other career path that you may look at is health insurance and health financing. Health insurance and health financing. And so I know some doctors, and I've even talked to them. You know some of them. There's one working in Jubilee, and there's another one who is working in Old Mutual, and they are doctors with a background in MBChB. They found their niche in health insurance and health financing. And this is a path that is very underrated. In the US, we have what we call billing and coding. And billing and coding is done by medical professionals who have done some short course in billing and coding. Simply put, they are medical professionals who get summary notes from doctors, could be discharge or treatment, and then they're able to interpret that, and based on the guidelines that have been provided by the insurance company, they code and they bill those medical notes and know that from this particular patient, we need to ask for a reimbursement of this amount. So they do that, and that's a whole career path on it by itself. So it's important in healthcare financing, and you'll find roles in clinical claims review, that is an insurance company, SHA for the government, and also the other private insurance company, case management. We have health economics, benefit design, quality assessment. So you'll find roles in this. You can fit in any of these roles if you're passionate about health insurance and health financing. What I've seen many nurses gravitating towards quality assessment, and I know a couple of nurses who work in that particular space, quality assessment in insurance companies, and also in private hospitals that need to check on the quality of the claims they are making in insurance companies. So you will help to determine what treatments are funded in, that is from the insurance company's angle, and also the cost effectiveness decisions. And you become a huge influence when it comes to healthcare access. So that brings me to the last non-clinical career pathway that I wanted to share with us as some of the opportunities that you may consider to explore as you begin your journey in career, or maybe you might be considering to pivot and maybe cross over from clinical to non-clinical. Those that I've shared may offer you that opportunity, and I hope that that has opened your eyes. Thank you so much for plugging in. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so that when I set up the next live session, you can be notified, and then you can join and keep on engaging. Remember to leave your comments or even your questions in the comment section, and I'll be very much glad to respond to them. Thank you. See you in the next live session. Bye-bye.